You know that feeling when you're trying to talk to your child's school and it feels like you're speaking a totally different language? You come in with all the facts, all the paperwork, but all you get back is a polite smile? Well, today we're diving into a story that I think is going to feel very, very familiar to a lot of parents out there.
Wow. This one quote, it tells a whole story in itself, doesn't it? It captures this incredibly frustrating battle that so many families are fighting every single day. So let's really dig into this, piece by piece, and see what happened. So where did all this start? Well, it wasn't some big dramatic confrontation. It began with a simple, responsible action from parents just trying to do the right thing for their kid. Okay, so first things first. These parents did everything right. They didn't just show up with a vague concern. They came prepared with official, professional documentation. They did their homework, they followed the process. And this is where things get interesting. The school's reaction wasn't what you might expect. It wasn't angry or hostile. No, it was something way more frustrating. Something we're calling the polite wall. Just imagine that for a second. You're in that meeting room, you hand over this official report that you know is crucial, and in response, you get a smile. It's supposed to be reassuring, right? But really, it's just a mask. It's the kind of nod that says, I see your lips moving, but doesn't actually hear a single word you're saying. And that's the punchline, right? The devastating result of that polite smile? Absolutely nothing. The report gets filed away, the child's needs get ignored. That politeness wasn't kindness at all. It was just a smokescreen for inaction. So, when you hit that polite wall, what happens next? Well, a simple, reasonable request suddenly becomes a long, draining, and totally unnecessary fight. First, let's just talk about the timeline here. 3 months. We're not talking about a week or two. This dragged on for 3 months. In a kid's school year, that is an eternity to be left struggling. And then there's the effort involved. Four separate meetings. Just think about that for a minute. The time you have to take off work, the prep, the emotional energy of gearing up to face that same polite wall over and over and over again. And what was the thing that finally broke the stalemate? What actually got them to move? It wasn't the medical evidence. It wasn't the parents pleading. It took the threat of legal action. Only when a lawyer got involved did that polite facade finally start to crack. This whole ordeal, it really points to the core of the issue, doesn't it? This isn't just about one family or one school's failure. It's about a much bigger systemic problem. This is the absolute heart of it. We're talking about invisible disabilities. Things like learning disorders, anxiety, ADHD. You can't see them. And because you can't see them, people and entire systems often don't believe they're real. The system is just set up to react to what's obvious, and it so often dismisses what it can't immediately see. But here's the thing. This story doesn't end in defeat. All that frustration, it didn't break these parents. It actually forged something new. It turned into a promise. And this is the turning point. We won't be quiet anymore. That's not just a sentence, it's a declaration. It's the exact moment a personal struggle becomes a public mission for every other family hitting that same polite wall. And with that promise, their story plugs right into something so much bigger. These hashtags, they're the rally cries of a whole movement, you know? Hashtag education advocacy, to fight for a better system. Hashtag believe parents, to demand that families are trusted. And hashtag inclusion now, for real, meaningful change. And that really brings us to our final thought. This one family decided their voice mattered, and they refused to be silent. So the question is, what happens when all of those voices join together? What does a system do when it's faced not with one person, but with a whole chorus that refuses to be ignored anymore?